Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Om Vishnupad Brahms Parivrajakaracharya Stottar Sadasya Srimad Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Samasta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you for today's session, today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter number 14 and sloka 37 and 38. So 37 is not having any purport, so that's why quickly I will read it. Then after that 38 sloka, so you can also follow me actually. Okay, first I will read out 37 sloka. Maitreya uvāca sva-sargasyāśiṣaṁ lokyām āśāsānām pravepatīm nivṛtta-sandhyā-niyamo bhāryām prajāpatiḥ. Translation is like this. Maitreya said, the great sage Kaśyapa addressed his wife, who was trembling because of fear that her husband was offended. She understood that he had been dissuaded from his daily duties of offering evening prayers, and she desired the welfare of her children in the world. Now you all repeat after me. Kaśyapa uvāca apratyayādatmanaste doshan mahurtikaduta mannideshati charena devanam chati helanat. Kaśyapa uvāca apratyayādatmanaste daushan mahurtikaduta mannideshati charena devanam chati helanat. Kaśyapa uvāca apratyayādatmanaste doshan mahurtikaduta mannideshati charena devanam chati helanat. Yeah. Mataji's. Word to word meaning. Kaśyapa uvāca. The learned Brahmana Kaśyapa said, Aprayatyād, because of the pollution, Atmanaha, of the mind, Te, your, Doshat, because of the defilement, Mahurtikat, in terms of the moment, Uta, also, Mat, my, Nidesha, direction, Aticharani, being too neglectful, Devanam, of the demigods, Cha, also, Atihelanath, being too apathetic. Translation. The Lord Kaśyapa said, because of your minds being polluted, because of defilement of the particular time, because of your negligence of my directions, and because of your being apathetic to the demigods, everything was inauspicious. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. The conditions for having good progeny in society are that the husband should be disciplined in religious and regulative principles, and the wife should be faithful to the husband. In Bhagavad Gita 7.11, it is said that sexual intercourse according to religious principles is a representation of Krishna consciousness. Before engaging in sexual intercourse, both the husband and the wife must consider their mental condition, the particular time, the husband's directions, and obedience to the demigods. According to Vedic society, there is a suitable auspicious time for sex life, which is called the time for garbhadhana. Diti neglecting all the principles of scriptural injunctions, and therefore, although she was very anxious for auspicious children, she was informed that her children would not be worthy to be the sons of a Brahmana. There is a clear indication here in that a Brahmana's son is not always a Brahmana. Personalities like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu were actually born of Brahmanas, but they were not accepted as Brahmanas because their father didn't follow the regulative principles for their birth. Such children are called demons or Rakshasas. There were only one or two Rakshasas in the previous ages due to negligence of the disciplinary methods, but during the age of Kali, there is no discipline in sex life. How then can one expect good children? Certainly, unwanted children cannot be a source of happiness in society, but through the Krishna conscious movement, they can be raised to the human standard by chanting the holy name of God. That is the unique contribution of Lord Chaitanya to human society. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. How are you all? Fine? This episode is very, very so important, especially for So having progeny actually, how to get good children. So Prabhupada has given several good instructions in many purports. And we all know the story. Brahmaji is explaining this story to demigods. So what happened? That means how Diti is going to get the Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha as her children. The reason is she was desiring children. That's not wrong thing, but she was desiring in a wrong time. Time is not followed. That means she is not approaching in a wrong way. That means she is a wrong person actually, her husband only. But the time is not correct. Even we have seen there were so many good instructions were given by her husband. So when she was agitated by the sex impulse, so that's the evening time, sandhya time. That was sandhya time, and her husband was in samadhi. He is doing his daily spiritual activities, because sandhya time is meant for doing spiritual activities. So one should not do activities like eating food or otherwise, so passing stool and sleeping or having sex intercourse, this kind of things should not be done in the sandhya time. In sandhya time, they has to worship Lord actually. So Kaśyapa was following his daily rituals, sandhya vandana and so and so. At that time she was agitated by sex life, sex impulse. Kamadev was wanting her. Because of that, she was not able to tolerate that, and she approached her husband. And her husband was giving very good instructions. He was telling that we have seen in the previous slokas. So this is the time for Rudra actually. So Ghora Velam. He was telling, Esha Goratama Vela Ghoranam Gora Darshana Charanti Yasyam Bhutani Bhuteshanu Charaniha. This is the time for the Bhutas and Pretas. The leader of Bhutas and Pretas is Lord Shiva, because he is so compassionate and he gives shelter to all the most rejected and fallen souls in the society. That is a symptom of Vaishnava actually. So he gives shelter to the most fallen people. So all these Bhutas and Pretas were led by him, and their time, that is, they move around in that sandhya time. And whoever does mistake in that time, so like example, if anyone is doing sexual intercourse in that time, then Lord Shiva will give permission to Bhutas and Pretas to enter in their womb, get opportunity to take birth here, get the body now. So that's why one should not do such activities which are rejected by the Shastra. Otherwise, punishment will be given by Lord Shiva. So, and also it is opportunity for his followers in that way. So he was explaining very nicely about the position of Lord Shiva, and if we do this kind of thing now, then it is disrespect for the Lord Shiva. So, but one thing actually, Kaśyapa is not so strong like a great Vaishnava actually. Here Maitreya also explains to Vidura, oh Vidura, this Kaśyapa is not strong like you. So because Vaishnavas are always very strong in controlling their sex impulse actually, sex urges. So he is not strong like you, because he was not able to instruct his wife very strongly actually. He could have showed artificial some kind of fear to, that means some kind of chastisement or anger, some kind of anger he could have showed to her so that she could have controlled her sex impulse, actually, sex urge in that moment. But he was not so strong and he couldn't show any artificial anger also. Like the snakes, sometimes they show artificial anger or natural anger, whatever, so to protect themselves. Similarly, he could have done that, but he couldn't do. So then what happened? He was just only mildly like a hand-packed husband. He was speaking to her. So, but she forced him and she dragged his dhoti. And finally, so whatever thing should not happen, that happened. Then she started repenting actually. Oh my God. So what bad happened actually? So now she was very much fear. Namo rudraya mahate devaya ugraya midhushe sivaya nyastadandhaya drutadandhaya manyave. I offer my obeisances unto the angry Lord Shiva, who is simultaneously the very ferocious great demigod and the fulfiller of all material desires. He is all auspicious and forgiving. But his anger can immediately move him to chastise. Diti was saying like this actually. Oh my God, now what will happen to me and my children? So wrong thing already happened. And she is praying to now Lord Shiva. This is kamaturanam na bhayam na lajja. So when one is inflicted by sex desire, then their intelligence will be lost. And there will be no fear and there is no shame. Her husband clearly telling to her, so they are all watching, we should not do at all. And he is like my brother and he is like your brother-in-law. And we should not do. But that's why this happened. Then Kaśyapa is replying to that. That means to her. Kaśyapa uvāca. This is today's sloka actually. So she was feeling fear actually. What will happen to her children? What kind of children will take birth? So that will be explained by now Kaśyapa. So Kaśyapa is saying that aprayatyādatmanaste doshan mahurtikaduta mannideshati charena devanam chati helanat. Diti aprayatyād atmanaste. That means your mind is polluted actually. Te atma means your mind, your consciousness is polluted actually. Just 1 second. Te tava atmanah manasah aprayatyat means apavitriyat. Apavitra ho gaya. That means your mind is polluted. That's why. That means krura manaso muhurtaha. That means you are going to get, your children will be what? Will be cruel. Cruel children you are going to get. That means very important. At the time of the intercourse, the consciousness of husband and wife is very important actually. If wife is like cruel at that time, she is with the cruel, that means she is like a polluted heart. What is going to happen here? Kaśyapa is saying, krura manasau. You are going to get children, 2 children. They are very cruel in their heart. Because of your pollutedness in your mind, you are going to give birth to such a babies. Sandhyā rūpo ghoraha tad bhavad doshat harau sandhyāya dvigatikatvacha dvau. So, and further he is saying that man nideshasya agna avakyasya aticharan. That means you also crossed my my words. I said we should not have intercourse now. But you went against to this. Dharma maryada bhanjanau. So that's why you are going to get children who are going to violate the dharma. Because of impurity of your heart, you are going to get the cruel-hearted babies, and also because you cross that means husband words, wife should not cross. Husband's whatever order, wife should not cross that. But she crossed that. That is against the dharma. So that's why you are going to get the children who are going to go against the dharma. And Devanam Sri Rudranam Helanacha. I told, if we have intercourse now, then that is offense towards the Lord Shiva and the demigods. There is another reason actually now, because of this mistake, because of the offense towards the demigods and Lord Shiva, such a great Vaishnava, so you are going to get the children, those are always against the Devatas and against the Lord Vishnu. So such a children you are going to get. So those whatever the mistakes she did, the result will be on the children actually. That means such as children she is going to get. So Tatputrau, this kind of two children you are going to get. Now we will be seeing the purport. The conditions for having good progeny in society are that the husband should be disciplined in religious and regulative principles. First of all, husband should be very strong. He should be following the dharma and regulative principles. Because husband is the leader of wife. Husband should lead wife. And wife should be faithful to the husband. What is the role of wife? Just to be faithful to husband. So that's why Prabhupada is saying, so it is said that sexual intercourse according to religious principles is a representation of Krishna consciousness. Yes, which is the sex intercourse which is not against the dharma, so that is not bad actually. That means that kind of intercourse is not at all rejected actually. So one should have sexual intercourse to get the Krishna conscious children. Before engaging in sexual intercourse, both the husband and wife must consider their mental condition. Must consider their mental condition. If their mental condition is not proper, the particular time, the husband's direction and obedience to the demigods. That means their mind should be pure enough. Their heart should be pure enough. And also time should be proper time, because it should not be offensive to the demigods. And also she should follow the directions of husband. They both should be following the dharma. So, and obedience to the demigods. We should respect the demigods. We are not asking to worship the demigods, but we should respect the demigods. So Prabhupada is also mentioning all these reasons. What we have seen in the commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So these three things. So then according to Vedic society, there is suitable auspicious time for sex life, which is called the time for Garbhadhana. So that's why this is the Garbhadhana samskara. Out of the, we have Shodasha samskaras, 16 samskaras. So one samskara is Garbhadhana samskara, which is very important. Vivaha samskara. Then after that Garbhadhana samskara, then after that Jatakarma samskara, and then after that so Namakarana samskara and Upanayana samskara, Vidyarambha samskara, like that. There are several samskaras are there, and these samskaras are purifying the consciousness of the people. So that's why they should follow the samskaras. Like if you have gold which is mixed with the mud, so you will do samskara. That means we purify that by burning and by processing that. Similarly, by samskaras, our consciousness will be purified actually. Our existence will be purified. So that's why Vedic culture gives the samskaras. If one is fully surrendered to the Krishna and who is 24 hours is directly engaged in directly services of Krishna, then for them there is no need of following these samskaras. But who are not fully surrendered to the Krishna, those people definitely has to follow the samskaras which are given in the Shastra. There is a suitable auspicious time for sex life which is called the time for Garbhadhana. Diti neglected all the principles of scriptural injunctions, and therefore, although she was very anxious for auspicious children, she was informed that her children would not be worthy to be the sons of a Brahmana. Those will not be worthy children. So, wife always should follow husband's good words. Prabhupada is, I want to read some more purports actually in this connection. So, in third canto, the same canto, in 23rd chapter actually. In 23rd chapter, so Prabhupada is writing, there actually the context is like this. So Kardama Muni, who is a great Brahmana, prajāpatiḥ, and very austere and devotee of the Lord, and very simple person, simple life he is living, and he was given with Swayambhu Manu's daughter, Devahuti, so king's daughter. She got married actually. She was given to him by her father. So this is the context actually. Prabhupada is writing here, the husband is, Prabhupada is writing in that purport, just how mother Devahuti, how she is serving her husband is being explained here. Here the example is given like Bhavani, that means Mother Parvati, she is also from a rich family, she is also daughter of a king. And she is the daughter of a king of the Himalayas. But she selected Lord Shiva. Shiva is, he lives like a beggar actually, and as her husband. In spite of her being a princess, she undertook all kind of tribulations to associate with Lord Shiva, who didn't even have a house, but was sitting underneath the trees and passing his time in meditation. So, although Bhavani was the daughter of a very great king, she used to serve Lord Shiva just like a poor woman. Even that means if a woman comes from a rich background, but so whatever the circumstances are there with her husband, she has to adjust with that and just follow her husband. Similarly, Devahuti was the daughter of an emperor, Swayambhu Manu, yet she preferred to accept Kardamuni as her husband. She served him with great love and affection, and she knew how to please him. Therefore, she is designated here as Sadhvi. So then such a woman is known as Sadhvi actually. She should not say that my father is so rich, you are a poor man, what you are doing here. And such a attitude she should not show. So which means a chaste, faithful wife. Her rare example is the ideal of Vedic civilization. Every woman is expected to be as good and chaste as Devahuti and Bhavani. Every woman should be chaste and so good as Bhavani and Devahuti. So Prabhupada is writing further, today in Hindu society, unmarried girls are still taught to worship Lord Shiva with the idea that they may get husband like him. Lord Shiva is the ideal husband, not in the sense of riches or sense gratification, but because he is the greatest of all devotees. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu, or Lord Shiva is the ideal Vaishnava. He constantly meditates upon Lord Rama and chants Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Shiva has a Vaishnava Sampradaya, which is called the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya. Unmarried girls worship Lord Shiva so that they can expect a husband who is as good a Vaishnava as he. The girls are not taught to select a husband who is very rich and rich or very opulent for material sense gratification. Rather, if a girl is fortunate enough to get a husband as good as Lord Shiva in devotional service, then her life becomes perfect. There is a lesson for girls, unmarried girls. So, actually they go behind the Lord Shiva to get a good wife, but if they get the wife like Lord Shiva, they don't want. They want all the money like Kubera. So, no. Actually, Prabhupada is giving lesson to her. So then her life becomes perfect. So further he is writing in the next purport. So the husband is a very intimate friend. Therefore, the wife must render service just like an intimate friend, and at the same time she must understand that the husband is superior in position and thus she must offer him all respect. So why the many times families breaks? Because there is no respect actually. There is no respect for the husband. A man's psychology and woman's psychology are different. As constituted by bodily frame, a man always wants to be superior to his wife. And a woman as bold and woman's psychology are different. As constituted by bodily frame, a man wants to be superior to his wife, and a woman as bodily constituted, she naturally inferior to her husband. Women and men both are not equal. This concept is wrong concept. So both are different. Man's tendency is always want to dominate, and woman's tendency is always to be naturally inferior to her husband. Thus the natural instinct is that the husband wants to post himself as superior to the wife, and this must be observed. So that's why naturally every time husband wants to control or they dominate his wife. This has to be allowed actually, observed. Even if there is some wrong on the part of the husband, the wife must tolerate it. You cannot say that my husband is wrong and I cannot follow him. No. This is a very important point. Prabhupada is writing. What he is saying? Even if there is some wrong on the part of the husband, the wife must tolerate it. And thus there will be no misunderstanding between husband and wife. Then there will be no misunderstanding between husband and wife. Otherwise, what will happen? If you try to satisfy our own ego, that means if Mataji also tried to satisfy, she wants to dominate him and she tried to compete with him, then what will happen? Then there will be further increasing of the misunderstanding. Then what it will be happening? So then Prabhupada is saying here, between husband and wife, so then there is a situation will become more and more worse. More and more worse. So, Vishrambhena means with intimacy, but it must not be familiarity that breeds contempt. According to the Vedic civilization, wife cannot call her husband by name. According to the Vedic situations, wife should not, so that means cannot call her husband by name. In the present civilization, the wife calls her husband by name, but in Hindu civilization, she doesn't. Thus, the inferiority and superiority complex are recognized. So here, so the main important point is, so then what will happen if woman dominates, try to dominate, it is not natural to her. Then if she tries to dominate her husband or tries to feel herself as equal, so then the issue will become family misunderstandings. For every small thing there will be fighting. Prabhupada writes further, when she must always be submissive to the husband and must give up all vanity. That means, as soon as the wife becomes proud of her parentage, her pride creates great misunderstanding between the husband and wife, and their nuptial life is ruined. Devahuti was very careful about that, and therefore it is said here that she gave up pride completely. Devahuti was not unfaithful. The most sinful activity for a wife is to accept another husband or another lover. So that's why women should not, that means they should not change the husbands. It's not at all correct. This is, Prabhupada is saying here, the most sinful activity for a wife is to accept another husband or another lover. Chanakya Pandit has described 4 kinds of enemies. But when she loyally, faithfully serves him, then husband will become just a puppet in her hands. This is a secret actually. This is a secret of the success. So when wife is chaste and tolerant, even if he does mistakes, but as soon as, that means faithfully, if she serves him, then what will happen? Then he will be following her. Outwardly it looks like that, and he is dominating, but he will be hearing her. Then her life will become very successful, and his life also. Then their family, that's why in the Vedic times there are no divorces, because automatically by faithful service by the wives, automatically husbands will become, that means in their control actually. They will be in their control. They will be for, like Krishna. So out of love of the devotees, he will be control. Aham bhakta paradina. Aham paradi, bhakta paradi. That means he is under the control of devotees actually. It's very easy for women actually. Having tolerance is the natural quality of the Matajis, mothers. So mothers, they have natural tolerance. That's why they are able to bring up the babies very nicely. They are tolerant for this. And because of their tolerance, they are so able to brought up babies very nicely. And they are tolerant for many ways. But this is not the nature of the male. Male is not so much tolerant like mothers. So because of this, so their quality, it's a natural quality. If they are just a bit tolerant, then they will be automatically, their husbands will be in their control actually. Some extreme cases, those can be always, that means some kind of, that means sometimes husbands are completely is like ignorant and completely fallen. So we are not discussing those cases. Such a husbands, so definitely that's a special cases, then those has to be dealt differently. But here Prabhupada is saying that not for the simple things, not for the easy things. So all these easy things also taking mind and try to dominate my husband. So I want to dominate. This kind of tendency should not be there. This will ruin their nuptial life. So the example is given here, Mother Devahuti. The most sinful activity for wife is to accept another husband or another lover. So, a chaste and faithful woman must not practice adultery. That is a greatly sinful act. Further, in the further purport, Prabhupada writes, the wife is expected to be of the same category as the husband. She must be prepared to follow the principles of the husband, and then there will be happy life. If the husband is a devotee and the wife is materialistic, there cannot be any peace in the home. Similarly, vice versa. There will be problem actually. So husband is not devotee and wife is devotee, there is also problem. The wife must see the tendencies of the husband and must be prepared to follow him. So here Kaśyapa is instructing her. This is not right. This time is not a right time actually to have intercourse, to have for children only. But it's not a right time. He was instructing her, but she didn't hear. she didn't hear his good words. The wife must see the tendencies of the husband and must be prepared to follow him. From Mahabharata we learned that when Gandhari understood that her would-be husband Dhritarashtra was blind, she immediately began to practice blindness herself. Thus she covered her eyes and played the part of a blind woman. She decided that since her husband was blind, she must also act like a blind woman. Otherwise she would be proud of her eyes and her husband would be seen as inferior. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport. The word Samanuvrata indicates that it is the duty of a wife to adopt the special circumstances in which the husband is situated. That means whatever the husband's situation is there, she should understand and she has to mold herself to follow that. So then automatically, so all the problems will be solved. In the society there will be no problems. Of course, the husband is a great as Kardamuni, then a very good result occurs from following him. But Prabhupada is writing, that means you cannot expect that everyone has a Kardamuni. Here Prabhupada is writing. But even if the husband is not a great devotee like Kardamuni, it is the wife's duty to adapt herself according to his mentality. So that makes married life very happy. It is also mentioned here in that by following the strict vows of a chaste woman, Princess Devhuti became very skinny and therefore her husband became compassionate. So by seeing her service, he became very compassionate. Then after that, whatever she asked, he did actually. Whatever he asked, she asked, he gave everything. And he said that whatever the spiritual opulence, spiritual wealth I earned, everything, so half of that you can also take. She became naturally, that means right, she got the right on the half of the whatever spiritual realizations he got in that half, he got the right on that half, 50%. He knew that she was the daughter of a great king and yet was serving him just like an ordinary woman. She was reduced in health by such activities and he became compassionate and addressed her as follows. So that's why here we should try to understand the success in the Vedic life. Vedic life means, so one may think that why we want to follow so-called Vedic principles. But actually we are all, I want to one more thing clear here, we are all aspiring pure devotees. We want to enter into the pure devotion. So until unless we are not qualified to surrender fully to the Krishna, so you cannot leave the principles of Vedic culture actually. So that's why Daiva Varnashrama Dharma must be observed until unless one fully surrender to the Krishna. So who can fully surrender to the Krishna? Those who are having a firm faith, very strong faith. That means sarvopadi virirmuktam tatparena nirmalatvam hrushikena hrushikesa sevanam bhakti ruchyate. That means I don't want family, I don't want wife, I don't want husband, I don't want this, I don't want no designations, nothing. I am not Brahmana, I am not Kshatriya, I am not Vaishya, I am not Brahmachari, I am not Grihastha. So all these things are no matter. I am servant of the Lord. Jiver Suruper Hoi Krishner Nityadas. That means on this firmly they are not only believing but they are firmly acting on that. So such a situation if you have, then for you there is no need of following this kind of Vedic rules. But before that, that means now you are trying to develop your firm faith on the Lord by associating pure devotees of the Lord, and you are not able to engage yourself 24 hours in direct devotion of the service of the Lord. Still your dependency is there on the material things. In that situation there is a need to follow the rules and regulations given by the scriptures, so that we will be uplifted to that state. will be regularized, our life will be regularized actually. Is regulated actually, properly regulated. Otherwise, on the name of the devotion, we might be tending to do more and more sense gratification. There is a chance to become a sahajiyas. So that's why it's very important. Prabhupada also several times again and again he mentions there is a need of the Daiva Varnashram Dharma to become a Vaishnava. Vaishnava means what? The Jiva who fully surrendered to the Krishna, he is Vaishnava. To become that, there is a need actually, need to follow this regulated life. So Varnashram Dharma means nothing but a regulated life. That means that Varnashram Dharma is understanding the psychology or the situation of the society, situation of this material creation, and it is instructing what is good for us so that we can progress in our devotional life. So that's why that's a Garbhadana Samskara also should be observed. It should be observed. It should be observed. So which is part of the Varnashrama Dharma. All the samskaras are part of Varnashrama Dharma and it should be observed. So Prabhupada is saying further here, Brahmana, so sons cannot be Brahmana. It's not necessary that Brahmana son always Brahmana. Not necessary. Brahmana sons may be the demons also. If they don't follow proper Vedic rules and regulations, that means then what will happen? Still they are in the bodily condition. They are not from the all the they are not out from the all the designations. So in that situation there is a need to follow the right and wrong. Whatever prescribed by the Shastra, that has to be followed. Then only there will be auspicious children will be taking birth. So otherwise there is Rakshasas. Rakshasa, that Prabhupada is saying, at that time only 1 or 2 Rakshasas, now no regulation in the having the children. For that there is no regulation, there is no proper strict observance of the Garbhadana Samskara. Then what will happen? All the demons are taking birth. So then what is the solution for this? The solution is chanting that means introducing to them this Chaitanya's mission. And so that at least they come to the human platform. By chanting holy names, at least we are trying to become humans. And becoming Vaishnava is even further, very advanced state. So, that is the unique contribution of Lord Chaitanya to a human society. So now we have 2 more minutes. I want to take questions actually. Few questions. Yes. Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
In this age, in the Kali Yuga, quite often we see, even I see from like 50 years ago in India to today, many times we see that the couples are either working together, sometimes even the women are dominant ones. And it may not be perfect, but if they follow good household life, that's still better than sannyasis who break the principles. And it may not be perfect, but at least they have to figure out how to cooperate. I know many couples where they do the things together. Sometimes even the woman is temple president, and it may not be the perfect Vedic solution, but if they work it out and present Krishna consciousness, it still seems to work quite nicely in this age.
Yeah. So sannyasis who break the principles, mithyachari.
Yes.
Is a mithyachari. So instead of becoming a mithyachari, better to become a grihastha. Yes. Even he may not able to follow, at least in that rules, but he should try to follow. But that is a better actually.
But if a husband and wife discuss things together, and they come to the same conclusion, it may not be perfect, but it's still better than breaking principles and doing something that's wrong.
Definitely.
It doesn't create a disturbance.
Definitely.
And I think the other thing too is if the man appreciates, like Prabhupada said, when the woman put the sari up, then the men all appreciated it. So it's like if someone does service for you, you have to try to, you owe them something you appreciate, right? So they all have to the Vedic idea is each person tries to do his duty. The husband does his duty also, and when each person does his duty, then everyone automatically gets their rights.
Yes. Yeah, everyone should follow their duties. So all the principles, whatever there, so in our Vedic scriptures, especially in the Shastras given by the Vaishnavas, so those are all there to uplift the consciousness of the individuals. So further towards the higher platforms. That is the principle actually. So
That's
any
the
rule.
problem in today's society is that so many people are trying to get their rights and even more rights without doing their duties. So people get cheated. If you're doing your duty, there's no cheating and no corruption.
Yes. That's why boys and girls before marriage they has to be trained.
Yes.
So properly they should be trained. If there is no training, proper training, then life will become, that means their marriage life will become very troublesome actually. Woman should be trained as how to be faithful to her husband, and man should be trained how to respect his wife and how to respect woman. He should know and what is his duties and what is the goal of the life. He should be trained. Then automatically everyone will follow respective duties. Then family life will be good.
If they're doing some job, they do the job better because they're trying to be service to God and service to society, and society automatically gets better. People think Varnashram Dharma is like a trade school where you learn how to pound.
A stepping stone.
But it's not a trade school. It's to learn how to do whatever you do as a service.
Yes. Okay. One question, sir. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, I am crying some minute ago because whatever I am crying, because whatever you have said similarly happened in my life practically. And actually, one of my wife, actually, first time he was a serious devotee of Krishna. And after a few days, I have listened that actually he has a relationship with other, and she has become actually, maximum time he is thinking about other boy or lover. And I am understood this point. I am crying every day and I am giving Tulsi to the Lord Nishingadev. And I have tried so much for changing to him. But at the last moment actually I have talked with senior devotee. They have said your devotional life will be dismissed if we will stay in this situation. You should come out from this situation. And now actually I have taken decision for doing another marriage.
Actually, see, if there is a mistake by the wife, means there is a responsibility, is your responsibility. Woman is not at all blamed at all. That means if a girl is doing mistake, means it's a father's duty actually. It's a father's mistake. If wife doing mistake, means it's a husband's mistake actually. It's not the wife's mistake. And mother is doing mistake, means it's a son's mistake actually. Because they are always very soft-hearted people actually. And those can be manipulated, and you have to protect them. And you have to accept her and try to change her actually. Not that the leaving, and then if you keep on leaving, then you can be going and it will end up for even 10 also. If you change, then you will not be satisfied. So that's why if there is a mistake between boy, that means if some wrong happens by girl and boy, then whose responsibility that is? Boy's responsibility. He is the wrong actually. Because he is the protector, and being a protector, you have to make sure that that wrong thing should not happen actually. And you cannot blame girl. No, that's wrong actually.
So Prabhuji, what should I do?
Then you have to accept her and so give a good environment to her, and you have to help her to come out from that. That is your duty.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Now I have changed my decision at present moment.
Hare Krishna. Any questions? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.